Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Round Robin. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with Christine Mulligan, Nina Mulligan, and Angela Hafler. Hey, everyone.
Hey. Howdy. Hello.
I got to tell you guys, the only thing I can think about is what Todd and I did this weekend. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Todd and I had, I think it's the best weekend we've had in the longest time because we really don't do anything. You know what I mean? It's like we're always working on the house or working on the show, working in the yard. Like we never get out. We never go do anything. But this past weekend, Todd and I attended, it's called Haunting in REO Town, Marketplace in downtown REO here in Lansing. So it's kind of like an offshoot little downtown area. It's kind of more of a historic area, you know, off from downtown Lansing, where like the Capitol is and all that kind of stuff. So it's really, really super cool. And as soon as we walked in the door, I didn't know what to expect. In fact, I didn't know if it was inside, outside, because Todd and I haven't even been in this area since the last time since we bought our house in 2018. Our realtor was there. And so a lot has changed. It's growing. It's got some cool restaurants and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, this was all like inside, like a marketplace. To me, it kind of looked like I always think of like an auto body place, like where it had the big garage door opening, that kind of a thing. It was pretty cool. There was a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. We spent, I don't know, maybe 3.5 hours there. And as soon as we walked in the door, like there's great music and there's a coffin, and inside the coffin's like a TV playing all this kind of cool shit. And I'm like, what is that? Well, it belonged to the owner of Awaken Haunted Attractions, and this is in Leslie. The owner of it, his name is Brian McVeigh. Super cool dude. We chatted it up with him for a while. And then we also chatted it up with, I think they're a couple, I'm not sure. Yes, they have to be a couple. They own and operate Afterlife Road Productions. His name is Ben Goldman. He's a creator, director, cinematographer, editor, along with Sarah, who I'm pretty darn sure is his girlfriend. I think her last name is Leonard. She directs, researches, writes, and is also a poet. And these guys were really cool, super nice. They were selling some things there, but I was just so, we had just such a great conversation with them. They even have a recent film called Dweller, and it was named the best TV new media feature at the 2025 Midwest Weird Fest. And it's currently streaming on Paraflix Paranormal Plus. So I thought that was really cool. They also have a show that they do, podcast called Streams of Consciousness, a paranormal podcast that takes weekly deep dives into all things paranormal. And I've got to check out some more of their stuff. But I'm going to tell you what they're doing, what they're trying to do. And these two have a very big sack for this. So remember when we did the show on Dennis Depew, Jeepers Creepers, which was recommended that we do by Taban Rice, who also knows these guys. Anyway, so remember like in the show, like after, Dennis, like he's losing his shit and he like beats his wife up and manhandles her and gets her out of the house. He's got kids just screaming away, and he ends up boogieing down these country roads. And a couple that was just on a leisurely drive in the country drove by this old school out in the country and saw him back there with a bloody sheet. Remember all that? The school?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they want to buy this place. And I was like, really? I didn't know it was for sale. Now, I think, the only time I've ever been there, because it's like right on the southern border of Michigan and Indiana. And it's for sale now. Now, we had stopped there. We had gone not flea marketing, I always say that. We had gone antiquing with Todd's parents and Todd's oldest daughter, Haley, and her husband, Harry. So after we came back into Michigan from Indiana, they didn't know it, but Todd and I are like, we are so going to the school from Jeepers Creepers. So we get there, Haley wouldn't even get out of the car. She didn't know anything about it. We didn't talk about it. She just wasn't getting out of the car. And it was kind of sad because it's actually a very, very cool brick schoolhouse. It's really cool. But there's, it's boarded up because, vandals try and get in there, plus with all the Jeepers Creepers stuff. There's, graffiti all over it, but it's surrounded by like cornfield. So we got out and we were running around. Well, apparently I found out, that like from Ben, it's like like the farmer who owns that land, like he's pretty nasty. Like pretty nasty. I've heard he's even shot at people, right, to get off the property. Anyway, he is like, they want to buy this place, and this dude's trying to sell it for $100,000. It's beat to shit. Like inside, floors have fallen through. The electricity is like destroyed. Who knows about water? So I was like, that's interesting. And I just had no idea I'm like, what would they want to buy this for? What would they want to do? They're like, we want to live there. I'm like, are you freaking nuts?
Right.
Nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Haley didn't even want to get out because she's very much a sensitive to spirits. And she felt, as soon as we pulled up there, she felt something dark. She told us this when we got back in the Jeep, because I was like, why didn't you, want to get out? And then, when you're facing the school, like, you have your entryway, and then above that was the second story, and then above that's like, I guess you call it a bell tower. It's like an area where the school bell is. Well, right below that is a window, and she saw a figure standing in that window. I was like, that's interesting, because I didn't know anything about it being haunted. I just knew that we had the weird shit with Dennis DePew. So anyway, as I was talking to Ben, he was like, yeah, a lot of people have said that they've seen a silhouette up there and also orbs. And I was like, well, that's really interesting. And he's like, I can tell you right now, there's no way anybody could be up there. And I was like, oh, yeah? Because the floor has fallen through. So how people are seeing silhouettes up there, how Haley saw one, I have no idea. So then he's like, you got to look at this. So, of course, they've gone through the house. There's a picture, and he was like, do you see that back there? And it's kind of like looking through a room, and I'm like squinting, I'm looking, I'm like, oh, hey, I see a face. It was a very white face. And then I'm like, it looks like its eyes were glowing, and sure as shit, he zooms in, and the eyes are glowing. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys want to live here? No. No. That's dark shit. No, thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're very brave, Ben and Sarah. Very brave, because there's no way in hell. I mean, our house has spirits. It's a very old house. And I think the schoolhouse, I want to say he said it was either early 1900s. Early 1900s, maybe early 1910s, 1906, 1912, something like that. This place was built. But there was something that had to have gone down in that house, or that schoolhouse. That is bad. So I just thought,
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, would you guys do that? Like, if you knew seriously there was bad juju, or you felt something weird, or you took a picture and you caught something in that, like, would you still have the desire to live there?
Yeah, I just get my sage out and say he's gone. There ain't no ghost.
That's right. I forgot about you and your sage.
I'm afraid of no ghosts.
I'm not afraid no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Get your ghost busting shit out. Well, Nina, have you ever had an encounter with something bad like that?
No, nothing bad. I'm pretty sure I saw my grandpa once.
Okay.
But no.
What are you
nothing
talking
bad.
about? You look in the mirror every day.
Oh. That's
I'm just
From my grandpa on my mom's side. I don't look like him.
I'm just kidding. She said, have you ever seen anything bad? I said, you look in the mirror.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was like my grandpa.
I know. He's like, why is Nina not coming back with something real quick on that one?
Sorry.
You missed it.
I know. I'm a couple glasses in, so
Are we drinking the red?
Mike is a little flashy right now.
Nice. Oh my God. All right. So, back to, this thing that we went to. So there's also, they have like a little museum inside, and it's not very big. I'm talking maybe, I don't know, 12 feet long and maybe 10 feet wide, maybe. And before we went in there, the girl was like, there are, because it's all about paranormal stuff, you know what I mean? So, she's like, there are some items in here that are still under investigation, some that have been investigated, and we finished that. But people have felt cold spots, dizziness, nauseated, stuff like that. So just letting you know, if that happens and you don't feel well, please walk out. And I'm like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. So we went in, and there's just little artifacts all over there. Some seriously real voodoo dolls, a couple of other weird dolls. Like there was an autopsy table, like a suitcase basically that they would use to take infants out of hospitals. I'm like, that's interesting, so that people wouldn't see a little baby on a gurney, that kind of a thing. Very interesting artifacts in there. And about halfway in, I started feeling a heavy, heavy pressure in my chest. I'm like, what? Is this all in my mind? Because I really let it go. I wasn't thinking about it. And then it was just very, very heavy. Very heavy. It wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't hard to breathe, but man, it just felt like something was pushing right dead center in my sternum. I was like, It took about 2.5, 3 hours for it to finally go away. I'm like, that's nuts. So we learned about all the little artifacts that were in there. And then behind this velvet curtain, it's not exposed because it's up to you if you want to look at it. But apparently it's a big chunk of a mirror that was in this guy's house. And he had gone to these investigators and he's like, I am being sexually assaulted every night in my room. Well, when they went and investigated, there's spirits in this big glass mirror that was on the wall. So they had a piece of it back there. They had it in a frame, and they're like, if you want to look at it, you can. If you don't, then don't. I didn't see anything when I looked in it. Sometimes they say that it could distort you a little bit, this and that. I didn't see any of that. But there was one other couple that was in there with us. They walked out. Now, I have an EVP on my phone, and we use it in the house all the time. There's some crazy shit that goes on with this that you can hear with this EVP in the house. And so I had asked her, I said, hey, would it be all right if I open up my EVP app? And she was like, her eyes lit up really big. She's like, absolutely. So we kind of opened up the curtain a little bit, and I put my EVP. Now, it was so hard to hear really what was being said, what was coming through, because Q106 was there. Right. And it's like you're just behind this door. And then like you had a table where, Nicole Bouchamp was sitting. She's an author. I'm going to talk about her in a minute. But you had a bunch of people, and it just sounded like it got really loud all of a sudden. And so we were trying to listen, but the voices that were coming through were very deep and very dark. Very deep and very dark. I was like, oh my God. I wish it was a little more quiet so we could make out what it is saying. So that was pretty cool.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I was like, literally, I was like, this is weird with the chest thing, and it's never come back. I've never had any feelings like that before. So I was just wondering, like, where in the hell did that come from? And nothing more has happened. No weird shit or anything like that. But I just found that really interesting. Now, I did mention Nicole Bouchamp, and she is an author, paranormal investigator, public speaker, haunted artifact collector, and I have a feeling some of those things were from them. I'm not certain. So if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry about that. Motivational influencer and historical preservationist, and she currently resides in Bay City, Michigan, which I've never been there. I've got to go because it actually looks like a pretty cool place. We also met her fiance, and her and her fiance are going to take off to Ireland to get married. And I thought that was really cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So we really had a nice talk with them. And she had 3 books. And I bought all 3 of her fucking books. I'm like, yep, give me all of them. I got to read them all. Because they're all true, investigations that she's done. Real places, real hauntings here in the Mitten. So I'm like, yeah, I got to read them all. And last night I'm like, okay, which one of these books am I going to read first? I'm going back and forth. I'm like, I'm going to read this one. And it's the Haunted Bay City, Michigan. So as I'm, reading the foreword and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is the first book that she wrote. So I thought that was kind of kismet.
That's cool.
Yep. And she's a great writer. I love her writing already. I can tell I'm going to get buried deep in these books real quick. So the 3 of the books that she has out there is Haunted Bay City, Michigan, Haunted Bars and Pubs of Michigan. I'm looking forward to that one. And also Haunted Detroit. Now, one of the stories in Haunted Detroit is one that we did. The guy that, was into like all the voodoo and he got his head cut off. That one's in there. Yep. Yep. So if anybody's interested, Nicole Bouchamp, super cool girl. Todd and I even had a tarot card reading there, which was really fun. I've never done that before, and I liked it. Don't ask me everything that she said because there was so much information that she threw my way, but it was spot on.
That's awesome.
Yep. Here's the cherry on top. So, about, like I said, about 3 hours after we had gone through everything, Todd and I were heading out. We're absolutely starving. We hadn't eaten since breakfast. And as we were walking out, Brian McVeigh stopped us. And now he's the owner of Awaken Haunted Attractions. Anyway, this time his wife was right there. We met her. She was super nice. And he was telling us about this facility that he has and that he had just gotten his liquor license. He's got a couple stages there at this place. And he asked us if we would be interested in doing a live show.
What?
Yep. A live show.
Dude, that would be freaking sweet.
I know. It took everything I had. I'm like, Tracy, you better just be cool. Be cool. But inside I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, really? That would be so awesome. Oh my gosh. So he's just a really cool dude. His wife was super cool. So, of course I had already taken his business card, but I had that. And so I thought, what, I gotta check this guy out a little bit. And I couldn't believe it. So Awaken Haunted Houses in Michigan, his facility is 42,000 square feet. It's massive. It's massive.
Whoa.
Yeah. And inside he's got like 4 linked attractions, an escape room, gift shop, food truck. And of course, now he's got a liquor license. So he's got cocktails.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're in their 10th year of business, and they're doing great. So these are some of the people who have been there. Lee Waddell, he is an actor and a stunt performer, and he is best known as the original ghost face killer in the original Scream movie and Scream 2, Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and Spider-Man. So he's been there. They had a bunch of pictures of him. Also, Nancy Ann Ritter, also in the movie Scream, Storytelling, and The Only Ones. And then Lenora Scalfo. She's also an actress who was also in Scream, Power 98, Do You Want to Know a Secret, The Woodman, Slasher Scotty, The Inn, and like a handful of other more movies. So this is a kind of a pretty big deal. Like this could be a great opportunity for the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of ideas going through my head because once I saw that, I'm like, oh, we got to take this to the next level. Take that shit to the next level. Yep. And also, here's something I thought you would be interested in, Angela. They're also hosting a Jeep run.
What?
Yeah. So,
no way.
Yeah. It's called a ducking around.
Yeah.
Or it's called Ducking Around. And this is like the 3rd year that they've done it. It's like $35 per Jeep. You meet out at his place, and then they give you like a zombie duck and a punch card. And then they have a list of all these places you have to go to. And, so Todd and I just figured we'll just grab a drink at each place. Once you get a drink or a snack, whatever it is, then you get a duck, and then they punch your card. And then you have another place you have to take your full punch card to, and then you end up back, at his facility, and, there's food, music, whatever. It sounds like a really good time.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and it's right around the corner. It's on June 28th. Yeah, like right around the corner. So I know Magnus wants to go.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, so it could be a really good time.
That could be a very good time.
Yep. So the website for that, if anybody has a Jeep and wants to be a part of this, their 3rd annual Ducking Around, it's www.awakenhaunt.com. So get your tickets. They're selling out fast. All right. So there's,
so cool.
Yeah. So there's one more place that I have to mention, and I know I'm really going on and on and on, but this was the best weekend we've had in so freaking long. There was also another place kind of across the street from where we were at the gathering, and it's called Dead Time Stories. So it's a local woman and her husband. This is actually their second store. So they're doing well. And I think they've only been in business maybe a few years. And anyway, it's a great store. They've got a lot of Michigan authors, true crime, you name it, it's all there. And then the other cool thing they had in there, they had a bunch of like tarantulas, like big ones. I was like, holy shit. I've never seen one close up before. I don't like it.
Big, right? When you see them in person, you're like, wow, they're so much bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It's as big as the one that was in the Brady Bunch. Remember that one when they were in Hawaii?
Oh my God.
It was big like that. Big butt, big hairy legs. I'm like, oh my God. I used to always think they could kill you, but they can't. They're not poisonous at all.
No, they're not.
There's people that like let them crawl on them and sit on their shoulder.
No, but
No.
Well, I can't even take it without. I mean, look, I don't kill a spider. Like if it's up in the thing, I'm like, let it do its thing. It's cool because they really don't want to bite you. They
Right.
could care less.
Right.
recluses. They might want to bite you.
Yeah, and they're not generally out in the open. They're going to be in the back corner of your closet where it's cold and calm and dark.
Yeah.
They're not going to be scurrying across your kitchen floor.
Okay, but whatever. Tarantula hairs can get in and be highly irritable.
Yes.
I don't want any spider on me, period.
Their hairs can be dangerous to some people, especially if they're allergic.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, they tend to not really care to bite you.
Mm-mm.
Or so I hear. I'm not an arachnomaniac.
Arachnamaniac.
Arachnomaniac.
An arachnid enthusiast.
Yeah, I'm not one of those.
No, I'm not either.
Neither am I.
Or snakes. Some people are really into that shit. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't hate them. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah, I don't
I'm
hate
like
them.
glad they're on the planet and stuff, but I don't want them in my house. I don't want them
No.
crawling on me and like hanging out with me.
Yeah. I
There's
don't.
like so many stories of people in Florida getting killed by boa constrictors
Yeah.
like in their sleep, and they just pop your head off. They squeeze you to death.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. You
Yeah.
know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I lived down there, so there's Alligator Alley, right? That's how you get from the east side to the west side. It's a 2-lane highway, and it's dangerous as all shit, right? You guys are familiar with it, aren't you? It's more south.
Yeah.
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 Yes, that's how.
Yeah, tons of alligators out there. But what happens, I know when I was living down there, people would get those big ass boa constrictors and then they would release them there because it just was too much for them, or I don't know what the situation was, but they were releasing them. And it was not good because they were going after the same food sources the alligators were. Did you guys ever hear about that?
Yep. I totally remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they adapt to their environment. So now we got like anaconda size
Yeah.
boa constrictors out in the marshes. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is not, we don't, no. But we also have monkeys here.
Say
So
what?
There you go.
When did the monkeys start
we got
popping up?
monkeys in Central Florida, well, all over Florida.
There was
really.
a secret monkey island.
What?
Like in the 1970s. It was like some research.
And also recently, like, I don't know, a year or two, or maybe a couple of years ago, I don't know, I don't keep up with the monkey news exactly, but there was some kind of like breakout. They were in a facility, a bunch of monkeys, and they got out. They escaped, or they were let out accidentally or whatever, and they've been out in the wild and proliferating. And they do try and capture them and bring them back to a sanctuary or whatever. But there's so many of them that they're saying that there's a whole generation of wild monkeys now.
Yeah. Didn't your mom have one like in her tree?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
My mother saw one about 2 months ago in her backyard, like out in a tree.
Holy shit! Like big
No.
monkeys or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big monkeys.
Really? Like chimps?
I don't. I don't know it.
Well, I'm sure it is.
I mean, they're
it is.
chimpanzees, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Because
yeah, I don't
monkeys
know.
have tails and chimps don't.
Oh, that's
Because they
true.
belong to
Oh,
the-
Yeah,
right?
but I know.
Planet
I
of
think
the
they're
Apes,
monkeys.
man.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't think they're chimps. I think they're monkeys with tails.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I think
Like capuchins, but bigger.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look it up.
Yeah. I mean, good.
Google that
It's
shit real
crazy shit.
quick.
It's never a warm day in Florida.
It's always some crazy
And
crap.
it's already hotter than hell. It's
I-
like 98 degrees today with like a heat index of 100,000.
Oh my God. I don't miss the heat. I know I bitch and complain about it being
Research-
cold.
Okay, Florida is home to several species of wild monkeys, the rhesus macaque and the vervet monkeys.
Huh.
But this isn't even, this is talking about the indigenous to this area. This isn't talking about the ones that escaped. So let me look that up.
Yeah, they had all these monkeys on an island, and like these people just dipped out. Whoever owned the monkeys, they just like dipped out. And they're like, oh, well, it'll be cool because they're like on an island, so it's not like they can go anywhere.
Holy
And then they
crap.
went every.
Yeah, but whoever did that forgot or were ignorant to the fact that monkeys can learn how to swim.
I guess I never thought about monkeys and swimming.
Yeah.
They think that
They
monkeys
didn't
can
either.
swim. They can learn how to swim.
Well, if you've ever watched National Geographic, I have seen plenty of monkeys wading around in the river.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, if they get desperate enough, they're gonna figure out a way to get to where they need to go.
Okay, well, the history of Monkey Island in Florida, it's in Homosassus, Florida. It's located on the Homosassus River, and Monkey Island was created in the 1960s when troublesome monkeys from a wildlife park were moved to the island to keep them from bothering park visitors. Well, that didn't work out too well because they got off that island, although they still do inhabit that island. They got off that island and they have proliferated,
Wow.
which is why.
Well, you know, I just found, oh my gosh, I just found a website and it's talking about the monkeys, the 6 types of monkeys in Florida. A rhesus macaques. These are not small monkeys, okay? That's a pretty decent sized monkey. The capuchin monkey, that one's a really cute one with the little face, but he's a decent size. A vervet monkey, white. Common squirrel monkeys, those are cuter than shit. Crab eating macaques, these are decent sized monkeys. And then spider monkeys, the black ones with the long tail. Yeah,
Those are cute. Those are actually mean.
I think all monkeys can have the potential to be mean as shit.
Yeah, they're gonna bite your face off.
Yeah, it would not be pleasant. Wow. Well, thanks for the education, Nina and Christine.
Yeah, who knew I knew? I know stuff sometimes.
You know a lot of stuff a lot of times. I love it. I never know what I'm going to learn.
I'm just surprised that my think tank's still thinking. That's all.
Tick,
Okay.
tick, tick, baby.
We have definitively said, though, not chimpanzees, though.
Not
Correct.
chimpanzees.
Nope. Not.
Yeah, no, but monkeys, nonetheless, that will bite your face off.
They will bite your face off.
They will. They'll
And so
run off with
will-
your kids.
Some people down south.
And so will alligators.
Yeah.
Don't hang out with alligators, people. They're everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
If there's a body of water and it is not a pool, although you should always check your pool before you jump in.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
There's an alligator.
Right.
Just saying.
Right.
Be careful.
From ghosts to jeeps to monkeys. We have no directions.
Let's
That's
zoom it back in.
that's
Let's
no.
bring it in.
I love bouncing all over the place. I love it. It's fun as shit. Keeps me on my toes.
Hey, and I really just realized that we, on this call at least, we all own jeeps.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Super.
Yeah, it's a weird coinky dinky thing we have in common.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Hey, you know what?
But you know what they say about a girl who owns a Jeep?
What?
What
Christine's
do you
like,
mean, what do they say? We're in the club.
Just every pocket, but not all girls that have jeeps.
I don't know.
Tracy and Angela are both hetero.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. It doesn't apply to us.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually Todd's Jeep. Angela's the Jeep owner. Todd's the Jeep owner. I just ride in it. It's not mine. I always did want one, though.
You want it?
Mm. Yep. Hey, you know what I'm drinking right now?
What are you drinking?
I don't know if you guys seen it yet. It's very new. It's Sprite plus tea. It's the fucking bomb dig. Sprite plus tea. It's a green Sprite can, and then underneath it in like a yellow rectangular shape in brown plus sign tea. And it is amazing. It's a little on the sweet. It's got a little sweetness to it, but it tastes like sweet carbonated tea, but not too sweet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you got to look for it. If you find it, you've got to try it. It's amazing. It is so refreshing. I was working out in the yard last week. Todd's like, oh my God, look at this. I'm like, okay, let's try it. And I was hotter than hell. And I was like, that's really good. And I just found it, not in bottles, but I found it in cans. So
What tea is it again?
it's Sprite. It's Sprite. And then underneath the word Sprite, it just says plus tea.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you guys. It's so good. And I don't drink sodas. I really don't. Every once in a blue moon, I normally drink like LaCroix, carbonated water. But I'm like, I think I want one of those tonight. You got to try it. It's so good. I wanted to share that.
That sounds good.
It is.
sounds good.
It is good.
Look at us sponsoring Sprite.
I know. Let's go, Sprite. Sprite plus tea. All right, so you know how Todd and I love to watch some Netflix. We love Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it would be fun if we just start throwing out some shows, whether they're series or movies, because I'm always wanting to know, well, what's new, what's out there to watch. Because that, Todd and I on the weekends when we're chilling at night, we just like to watch a good whatever, whether it's a documentary, a horror film, mostly horror, we like that, or just some wacky series. So anyway, I want to throw one out. It's I'm going to recommend it. It is a supernatural horror film directed by Danny and Michael Philippou. And this was their debut film, and I freaking loved it. It's called Talk to Me. It's from 2022. Have you guys seen that yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, it's freaky. We don't really particularly like to watch movies about teenage kids. It's just not our thing. But I'm like, no, we gotta give this a try. So it's basically like a group of kids get together on the weekends. Like they may drink or whatever, but basically what they're doing is they have a chair, they sit you in it, and they strap you into this chair, like with chains and shit, so you can't go anywhere. And then on the table in front of you, they have like this embalmed arm, basically. It's like cut off at the elbow, so it sits on the table. And it's like if you put your elbow down on the table, you know how your hand just rests and like someone could come up and just slip their hand and shake it? That's what it looks like. So they set it on this table, they strap you into this chair, and then you have to slip your hand in, hold it, and then you say, talk to me. And as soon as they say, talk to me, they see dead people, like right now. And then the spirits of the dead people that they see actually get inside their bodies. And they're all, on their phones, videotaping it. And they're all having a great time. And it's not, like at first I was like, holy crap, that's really scary. And then it like kind of gets kind of funny. They all take their turns doing it. It's kind of like, I don't know, I guess like you're having that, like a huge euphoric feeling that they're going through when all this is happening. But when it turns to crazy town is like nobody should be doing it if they're not an adult, like 18 and up. Nobody 18 and below. And this one girl's brother, he's like, I want to do it. And they're like, no. And the sister's like, hell no. And then the friend of theirs, like, she's like, he's begging her and she's like, all right. And that's when it gets real dark, real crazy, real quick. So I've watched it twice. I might even watch it a third time because it's nuts. So that's my recommendation. Talk to Me on Netflix. So if you like that kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So what do you guys have? Do you guys have anything you want to recommend to anybody?
I mean, literally, I feel like I watch all of their offerings whenever they come out. And then if I like it, I keep watching it. If I don't, I stop. But I don't know. What was it? I think Department Q or something was something that we watched recently.
Yeah.
It's Department Q
Okay.
is what it's called.
He's like a detective.
Yeah, he was a detective and he kind of got in trouble.
Yeah.
And like they
they
thought he had a
signed him.
meltdown.
Yeah, they assigned him to like the cold case files where they're like impossible to solve because he is kind of like a genius, like a mad genius.
Like a
But they
Sherlock
thought he
Holmesy,
kinda
kind of a smart guy.
'Cause-
Like,
Yeah, like a Sherlock Holmes, like a new age Sherlock Holmes
Yeah.
oh,
mixed with a cold case files.
Yeah.
cool. Department Q.
You'd probably really
And then,
like
of
it.
course, there's like cop corruption
Yeah,
and, that sort of side of it too. And the legal system and
yeah, like an NYPD Blue.
yeah.
Oh,
Dash.
cool.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like that. That was pretty good.
Awesome. I'm gonna put that in my watch list. I know I'll speak on Regina's half. I know there's she brought up a documentary because she's she loves the documentaries, and there's the Tylenol story right now on Netflix too. Remember all that, guys? Where it was
Yeah.
was
I
it
watched
cyanide? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said it was really really good. What do you think?
It was good. Yeah. And it's an easy, I think it was 3 episodes, maybe 4. I don't know. But it was short and sweet and, but yeah, it was really good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch
Yeah, 'cause
that.
it goes into years ago. There was a tainting of Tylenol capsules.
Right.
So someone somehow goes and there was like 8 people or something that died that they connected it to.
Mhm.
It was cyanide, right? Cyanide or arsenic. I don't remember.
Cyanide.
I think it was cyanide.
Cyanide in the capsules. And they linked all these deaths to cyanide and the fact that they had Tylenol in their system and blah, blah, blah. So they run down the trail of a couple of people. And then they always dabble in the corporation, the corporation,
Yeah.
the corporation, here and there. And ironically enough, the corporation was allowed to incinerate their recalled lot. So you could never really know how many bottles that were tainted were out there because 99% of the lot that was recalled
Mhm.
was incinerated by the company that makes Tylenol.
And arsenic is in their facilities.
Arsenic
So
or
it is
cyanide?
I'm sorry, cyanide. Yeah. They
Okay.
do use cyanide, for testing for that purpose. They test their own product for cyanide.
Really?
Make sure that it doesn't have cyanide in it. So there's cyanide on the premises.
What
Yeah.
in the
So it
hell?
very well could have been that, the guy they railroaded for it just kind of looked good for it because unfortunately for him, he's just a creep,
Right.
But more than likely it was probably maybe the corporation.
More widespread, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll never know.
So it's an old historical version of big business getting away with some funny stuff.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to.
But that is not the claim to the show. So that's why it's worth a watch for everyone, because that's not the claim.
They give you just both avenues, and
Yeah.
you can kind of make up where you want to go from there.
Yeah, so everybody will be left with how they feel their own direction.
Wow,
at
I
the
think
end of
that's
it.
cool. Huh.
Interesting.
All right. Well, thank you for that, ladies. What about you, Angela?
Well, I have it's not really a new show, but I really got into it because it was interesting to me because it kind of opened not really opened my eyes, but kind of a visual of the widespread corruption in the world. And that's The Blacklist. Have you guys ever watched that?
No.
I love that. I
What's-
love that show.
What's the name of that guy, the main
Dude.
character in that show? The blonde hair guy, right?
gosh.
He was in, what was it? Pretty in Pink.
So wait, did
He was the preppy dude.
Yes.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's not him.
It's
It's the blonde hair.
Is Black.
In Blacklist?
hang on, I got it. James Spader.
Spader.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's him.
they look the same.
They are similar. All right.
Yeah, they are. I always get them confused. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So what is the premise of Blacklist?
So it has to do with the FBI, and they go after big time crime. So James Spader, he plays Reddington, and he's like the most wanted man in the world. His daughter becomes an FBI agent. There's a huge thing about it, but they bust all these crime bosses and all these big time crime syndicates and all of that, and it's not just drug runners or serial killers. It's like politicians. It goes way up the chain, and it's like this whole story of like this big spider web, and everybody comes together, and it's hard to explain, but I was absolutely hooked by that show.
I think someone else told me about it too. Is there also something that has to do with like underground medical stuff as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
All kinds of shit. It's so good. So good.
Are there a lot of seasons, or is this like a couple seasons, or?
I want to say there's 7.
Oh, sweet.
So it's definitely a commitment.
Yeah, it is. That's cool. We're committed. We're commitment type people over here. I hate like you get into something and it's so good and it's like, oh, it's only 2 seasons. I'm like, damn it, I want more.
I know.
All right, so Blacklist. I'm gonna put that in my list as well. Awesome.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Hopefully, if people haven't seen them, give these shows a try because it's Netflix and it's the best. Is that on Netflix?
Yes.
Awesome. Even better. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for letting me rant and rave about my weekend. I'm still kind of on a high from it, I guess. But
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling us about it.
Yeah.
That's
So
really good. You did some good networking. Very good.
I did. We're gonna do some more. Tata, in fact, just ordered some magnets for the Jeep. So like we're really hyper focusing on networking, getting out, meeting more people. And that's another, good reason why we want to go have fun with the duck run and everything. But I want to really get my eyes on this place because now I'm thinking, holy shit, if this is like, and it's been voted like, it's way up there for the best haunted places to go to. So now you can only imagine my brain is really going on about how we're going to do this show. But, and I thought what we need to do too is, of course, we're going to record it for the podcast. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, my brain's going like crazy. It's super, super, super intense in my brain right now. So anyway, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming back and listening. As always, we appreciate you so much. So thank you again, and we will see you guys back on Friday for F-Bomb. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.